An unknown germ is being blown around the world. It's highly contagious and it's reached plague proportions.
And you don't believe some of the dead have come back?
Till there's nothing left.
Drop it.
Tonight, we get set to race from the action track. This evening, Moonshiners Racing League gets set to see how its top drivers fare out, a part of the OB Builders Cup Series, as we get set for tonight's coverage of the PayRVA 250. Catch all the action here on Ballin TV. I'm Justin Prince, alongside me is Jeremy Miller. DJ Line is producing for this evening's coverage. The cameras brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. Tonight we go racing for 250 laps as we are quickly approaching the postseason. Just 2 races remain, including tonight. The pressure is on to perform here at a short track, Jeremy.
Yeah, always a lot of pressure at this point in the season. Richmond especially, so much can happen here out of your control. These close quarters racing. Usually pretty high tire wear. I don't think these tires are going to fall off too much tonight, but they're going to be loose out there. You got to be loose to be fast here.
And of course, this racetrack Going to be also vital to be able to hit the bottom of the racetrack. 0.75 miles is the distance, mind you. Been around since the 1940s when you think about some of the racing here, including back to the fairgrounds time in the Richmond region. But this evening, the drivers get ready to see how things fare out at a new look track compared to previous years with the iRacing updates from a couple months ago. But the playoff standings for this evening still see Calvin Ruff now have an advantage by 13 points over Aaron Matthews. Jeffrey Taylor has a 52-point advantage. 10 drivers have won their way into the postseason still. That has not changed in the past while or so. But some of the drivers who need wins, like Nick Kane and Johnny Shade, looking to see if they can find a spark here tonight at this racetrack, Jeremy.
Yeah, those drivers need a win, so it's going to have to come here this week or at Daytona next week for any of them to have a shot to make the playoffs. Matthews and Ruff, they can both point their way in right now, but one of those guys on the outside wins, they become must-win as well. So really a lot moving forward into Daytona next week as well as tonight. You take a look at the playoff stands. If it started today, a lot of playoff points for some of the guys towards the top, Justin.
Alex Coffey in particular will be that points leader coming into the postseason if it was to start today. Along with Matt Cox, they each have more than 30 points worth of playoff points gathered up. Then the cut line has a lot more pressure because you're talking about more than half the field, at the very least, within a couple points of that cut line in of itself. And some of the drivers who have won races since they haven't done well on the stage, like Nigel Christensen, who would need to do very well the rest of the way to pick up some more points because they'd be amongst those under the cut line entering said postseason. So we'll see what the balance is tonight. Let's take a look at your race analysis. 75 in 150 are your stages for this 250-lap race. So 70, 75, and 100. You also have about 5 tire sets available in the pit lane with these open setups for tonight. So not too many sets available per se. That's going to mean potentially a lot more pressure to choose your stops. A reminder that at lap 16, for doing a moment of silence once again in memory of Jamison Middlemas, who passed away just in the past month, one of the drivers who competed here in Moonshiners. The field getting set to go for tonight's coverage. We're just about set to go. Qualifying just came to a conclusion, and for the 12th time this season, Alex Coffey has put his dig car up at the front of the field. He has been racking up the pole awards, and he gets another one. This time over Jeffrey Taylor. It's his 12th AASM pole award. Row number 2 will feature Paul Gallimore. Brandon Fennerplay starts up in 4th position. Row number 3, you'll find Tim Wortman Jr. He's been keeping that 83 with the Oakney look lately. Corey Moore with the Martin Truex Jr. look tonight. He'll start in 6th, about a 10th and a half off the pole. Sean Rogers has a different look than normal. He'll be running the red, black, and white tonight. Shane Wyatt, his usual colors, start in 8th. And rounding your top 10 starting spots is Blaine Wilson in the 18. And Jose Medina with an decent qualifying run in 10th.
Yeah, solid effort from Medina starting P10 tonight. But P11, Brandon Bike, he had a big moment in qualifying. Lost a lot of time on his lap. He'll be looking to come through the field early. Nick King starting 12th in the 12. Our 13th and 14th starters going to be Calvin Ruff. He's the driver right there on that cut line. Needs a great point tonight or a win tonight. And joining him is Caden Norfrey in the 56. He's had some struggles. He's looking to turn around here tonight. And our last 2 to set times this evening, Timothy Harper and Nigel Christensen, both with issues in qualifying as well off the pace. And these drivers on back set by Irony, Matt Cox, Kenny Coppola, 17th and 18th. And 19th and 20th are going to be Chris Davis and Aaron Matthews in 5, also on that cut line with Calvin Ruff.
21st goes to Warren Young in the one machine. Greg Carr starts in 22nd. Then further on back, you'll find Kyle Holden and Barry Sanders starting next to each other. Some of those machines will look to move forward in their Chevys. Nicholas Atwood looking to make some speed tonight. And Ryan Huff, driving the 24, starts off in 26. Behind them, it will be Matt Mackin, who will start in 27, to Jarrett Clark start in the final spot, 28th. Of note, Kenny Coppola has elected to start this race from pit road. The rest of the field getting 3 pace laps to settle on in and get ready to go racing. Your temperatures are on screen, by the way. It's pretty cool for iRacing standards with the track temperature, 80 degrees Fahrenheit, 78 air temp, wind not much of a factor, humidity pretty low for tonight. So first things first, Jeremy, when talking about this race, you have to think about the drivers up front. The All About Sheet Metal pole award once again going the way of Alex Coffey. How does that help being able to control the field and having the chance to get clean air to start here at Richmond?
Yeah, track position is more important at short tracks than it's ever been with this iteration of race car. Dirty air, especially with the recent updates we've had across the sim, really an issue for these drivers to fight through. Your car is going to drive terribly when you're directly behind so many of these corners, and you get too close of a bumper through the center because you're faster than them. It's going to really negatively affect you, and you're going to fall off them. So it's going to be important early to have that clean air. Coffey's going to look to drive away with that, but I still look for some of the stronger cars in the back of the field to find their way through, as it is short track racing after all.
What are some of your keys to a good race here tonight as we get ready for one final pace lap?
Yeah, just, don't wreck it. That's always what we talk about every week. It's a really easy track to get ahead of yourself. Too much throttle on the exit at 2 or 4. You can snap that car around and end your night early, and taking care of that right rear as well to make sure you have the grip for the longevity over the course of a run here.
Who do you think is going to be the one who gets the job done tonight, and why?
Yeah, Matt Cox is the best driver in the series at saving his tires every week, and Richmond, a track really known for wearing the tires out. Not too much on iRacing though, so I think Coffey gets it done from the pole tonight. I think the clean air and a really strong car in that 54 is going to pull it together.
If that was to happen, it'd be a 4th win for Coffey and break what was a 4-car logjam for 3 wins 2025. But Paul Gallimore really backing up as we come up to the start zone. Happy with us. We roar away through the Simrat Market start zone. Green flag is out. We're underway from Richmond.
Definitely a bit of a gap was left there by Gallimore through that zone, closed up the Coffey, but Jeffrey Taylor on the outside, we saw him strong a week ago, looking strong again right now on the outside of Coffey, taking that lead away in turn 3 on the first lap.
How about that? Able to time it up well and be able to clear on by. And already Coffey getting swarmed by some of those on the top line. Fetter Place trying to roll it. That's top line. You can pinch down a bit, I've noticed over the years, Jeremy. And we're seeing the 34 being able to do that now to try and move for second.
Yeah, but outside right now, with the tires fresh, definitely going to have a bit of grip up there, and you can pinch off that guy's exit below you. But I do think when you get a little bit deeper into the run, the bottom should be a bit stronger here. Track doesn't widen out quite as much as it used to before they updated this track, in my opinion. It comes a little more narrow. Oh, and they're wrecking in the back. That's rough. That's huge.
Gavin Ruff, one of the drivers in the playoff battle, has hit the wall. He's taken one of the PayRVA cars of Timothy Harper with him. We're under yellow for the first time here tonight. So real quickly, putting us under the yellow flag. We'll see the RS button boxes replay right here.
Saw some really heavy damage on the 42 out of this. He just gets into the rear of the 14, turns him 14, or the 42 crushes the inside wall. Gavin Ruff, some pretty heavy contact there as well, but I think the 14 might get out of this relatively okay. Some heavy damage to the left front, but I don't think anything should be broken there. But big thing is those tires just slid for a long time, and it's way too early for him to take a set, so he's going to be struggling the rest of his run on these tires.
Some decently hard licks here, and although in some cases we've seen in the past drivers like Michael Conti be able to win without a front nose in the Gen 6 car, this car, a lot more aero dependence, you can argue, here at a track like Richmond, and we'll see how much damage they're able to fix under the caution flag. By the way, Matt Mackin did crash on lap 2 and immediately towed the race car. He had also slammed the inside wall the same way and then immediately pulled off in the 01 car. As well, Kenny Coppola came in and out of the pit lane and immediately parked it. So a few drivers are already having some issues pop up here. But the drivers who started on the outside, Taylor and Fetter Place, 1 and 2 to start this run as we get set for a restart in a few laps.
Yeah, they both had great initial starts around the outside lane, puts them 1-2 here. Be interested to see if Taylor picks the top after getting such a great initial start from up there. Obviously, as a control car, he'll get an even better launch, and I think he liked it up there, but the bottom traditionally where the leader will go here at Richmond, so we'll see what that decision is when they come to take the one to green.
So the BMP machine get a chance to control things up front as well. We've seen drivers like Aaron Matthews already pick up 5 spots for the early caution flag in a couple laps. Not bad. Kyle Holden also doing the same. So Harper, Coppola spending significant time in the lane. Gavin Ruff only took 22 seconds in the pit lane and immediately pulled back out on the racetrack. Damage still there on the left front as we make our way down the front straight away. Taylor chose the top, interestingly enough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue it, but he had an incredible initial start up there, so I think there is reason for him to think this is going to work for him and go well, and we'll see how it launches for him. Fetter Place, so obviously had a great restart as well, so we'll see what kind of fight he can put up in the 34 on the bottom.
So coming to the same wrap market restart zone, the top 10 just about the same. Taylor, Fetter Place, Coffey, Gallimore, Wortman Jr., Moore, Wilson, Rogers, Bikey, and Wyatt are in amongst that top 10. The restart zone on the sim, set up just at the exit of 4. Taylor does get the good time up and clears on by, but look who he helped out possibly. Gallimore trying to roll it. Instead has to shuffle back to the line. So the top 3 able to get single file, but some of the dig cars going back and forth for 4th.
Yeah, Coffey already heading backwards early here. This is going to be the battle for the 4th position, so he'll be hanging on the 5th. You see Wortman Jr. in behind. He can get under about 54, maybe put it 3 wide. That would knock him out of the top 5 tail backwards, but Coffey looking to find a way to keep calling back forward here, but that outside just seems to have that 54 beat right now. Both the initial start and this restart, he has been passed by cars on the outside lane.
Get an overfray up, no technical issues. May fall down the pylon soon. We'll see if he stays in. Hearing some calls on the radio because of that technical blip. He just had around the 13th spot. So coming up to conclude lap 10. The lap time's around 21 seconds at the moment for those keeping track. Brennan Bikey not able to find the inside line yet. Forced to try and make the outside work. This top line starting to die off, and it's starting to become, as you would expect, a bottom-feeding racetrack.
Yeah, and I had a race with Bikey here a week ago, just an official race that I was in with him, and, you know, he talked about just really being patient, picking his way through traffic, avoiding the wrecks. Now, this is in a league setting, obviously a little bit different, and a different standard of racing to be set, not as caution-heavy, we would hope, as we see in those official races. So he's being a little bit more aggressive here early, trying to pick his way through towards the front of the field on the outside. Qualified 11th right now, and he's working for the 7th position on the outside of Wilson. I think he's going to pick up this position. He looks a little bit stronger than the 18 right now.
Squeeze up by the 18, Blaine Wilson. Bikey still has that pole and the ability to go a little bit deeper into the corner at least. Does get the clearance. So Bikey up 4 is now in the top 7. Trying to help a teammate as well. That's an BMP machine. Rogers now looking to also do the same. And does just as quick. So quickly, lap times turn forward. Coffey just got let go for 4th as well.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Justin, these early laps of a run are really important at Richmond. I'd say they're more important than they are in most tracks. Not for the positioning of your car, but just the overall feel and handle. If you abuse the tire just a little bit too much in the early portion of this run, it will completely change the way your car handles like a light switch for the rest of the run. You can do absolutely nothing to change in a pit stop, but you come out and fire off a little bit harder the first 10 laps, you're going to spend the next 50, 60 laps driving terribly.
In memory of Jameson Middlemas, moment of silence. Again, Jameson Minimus, competitive driver we've seen in this series. Now Getting to the action of itself. Coffee is starting to make a surge back again. Last time by, Coffee was as quick as the race leader. Better Place was not. He was a 10th back, and that immediately causes a swap.
Yeah, 54 is a really good race car. You're showing that fighting back here. He just needs to do a better job on the restarts, firing off, and really just maintaining that position when he's not in the preferred lane. You know, it's okay not to go forward, but you just can't afford to go backwards on restarts. And, you know, every pass that you have to make after that, you're hurting your tires even more. It just kind of snowballs itself and negatively affecting the way your race goes. Restarts are so important, especially here at Richmond.
You mentioned there's a bit of a backstory when it comes to the paint scheme for Corey Moore tonight. And of course, to me, it looks like Martin Truex Jr. colors. But to you, there's a different aspect to it for the 19.
Yeah, just, you know, the branding there with the PayRVA, obviously sponsored tonight's race, so just getting that coloring going there for them. And yeah, it's simplistic, not anything fiery or standing out, but it's a good looking race car. And, you know, dark cars seem to look really nice under the lights as well, so it's displaying itself quite well with that matte black look.
Does pop around here, doesn't it? Indeed. By the way, Dick Carr's now 3 and 5 up against the front of the field. Of course, Corey Moore, owner of PayRVA as well. So that would be very fitting why you would run that as the branding, of course. As we continue to get circulated around, as we continue to settle through, Nick Kane is amongst those moving ahead. Shane Wyatt, up and down season. Was expecting big things from Shane, but has kind of had a quiet year in this series for the most part, outside of some stretches here and there. Of course, one of the drivers looking good, to say the very least, for the playoffs, and amongst those, that would be 7th in seeding with a win sticker. But outside that win, it's been up and down.
Yeah, it's been up and down, but it's really just been consistent at the same time. Like the downs haven't been super down and the highs haven't been super high. It's been a lot of what we're seeing here with him this season, just kind of back at the top 10 solid runs in the 23 car. And, you know, that'll get you pretty far along in a series like this. I feel he should have a decent shot when we come playoff racing, and, you know, wins cure all. So you ever just show up to the track one time, have that speed, that'll obviously work out really well for you. But the days of consistency, you know, beating your opponents to death are gone. I mean, wins matter more than they ever have, and, you know, many people question how that format should work within, you know, a racing series, and obviously replicating what we see in real life here with the format. So, you know, you just got to find victory your lane. Playoff points are going to matter when you get into those later rounds, and you can't afford any mistakes, and Wyatt doesn't have that buffer as some of the other drivers in the series do.
Absolutely. By the way, Matt Cox, who you were keeping an eye on, up 4. Last week's race winner, moving his way through the field, and Matt Cox doing Matt Cox things. He's been gaining a lot of momentum as of late in this series. Is it the car? Is it the setups? Is it the driver confidence? What do you say? He's done very well since switching to a Ford with the Bears look.
Yeah, I think it's the driver. I know you weren't here a week ago for Watkins Glen, but he toyed with us, Justin. He spent the first 2 stages of driving slow on purpose, flipped it to the lead to begin the 3rd stage, and just was the fastest car on the track the entire final segment of that race. Nobody could touch him. A massive win for the 32, and yeah, I think he's almost kind of done that with the season a little, if you look at it. He just kind of played dead through stints, you know, maybe didn't approach for races with as much, you know, intensity and practice as he would other weeks, and he's shown when he does bring that intensity in practice, he is the driver to beat. And once the playoffs come, he's going to turn that switch up, and he's going to be an absolute, you know, wildcat right out of the gate, and I think he's going to be pretty tough to beat.
He's that type of driver to race against, and right now we're seeing him move forward. Kyle Holden also up a remarkable 10 spots in this one. Again, Holden did not put up a qualifying time. He's not the biggest mover, surprisingly, on your leaderboard. That's a tie with Aaron Matthews. So some of these drivers from the Arrow side, in particular, we've seen with Matthews and for Holden, showcasing the ability to cut through traffic.
Yeah, Holden, one of the best road racers of our series. So, you know, you see the 88 there, Red Bull, definitely akin to SVG, a driver he's run some schemes replicate, and SVG was really good here this weekend too. So maybe some road racing prowess showing itself on an oval here, similar to what we saw there in real life with the 88 car.
There's that chance. Jose Medina, by the way, surviving amongst those fighting with Warren Young. Medina changing up the alcoholic beverage sponsorships as Norfray hits the wall in front of him. He's racing with Chris Davis around him, and Chris Davis, we spoke with him earlier on tonight before the broadcast started, where it was brought up by Barry Sanders, hey, this is the guy who's going to win the race. His thought is, no, I'm feeling very slow.
Yeah, the other driver you mentioned there, right behind him, Barry Sanders, who we were also talking to, also said he felt very slow, and these two drivers have found each other 18th and 19th, and, you know, I think they're both going to be wanting to move forward as this run goes. You'll see if those tires start to work a little bit back into their favor, and they can move forward, but so far it looks like those drivers were not lying, not too confident coming into this one tonight and struggling early on the short track, but I think Davis is quicker than a couple in front of him here, and I wouldn't be surprised if Sanders can follow him through.
Right now, just a lot of side-by-side, and we can see that sometimes here at Richmond. It's hard to clear, and some of the drivers having a hard time clearing. Holden on Nick King. King amongst those drivers who needs a win potentially, and very likely will, with the point structure. Just has not had it tonight. So far, stuck in place since the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, not really much movement out of that 12. See a little bit of contact with the wall there out of turn 4. He needs to keep the car in one piece. Can't win the race if you tear it to shreds. But Coffey now up the P2 on Gallimore, and that gap to Taylor has closed a little bit for the 54 as well while he's been making that move. So I think Coffey showing some of that long run pace is really there in that 54. Just needs to fire off better, like we said earlier, and not have to climb his way back through the field at this point in the run. And he should be able to run a lot more confidently up front. We'll see if he can chase down that 9 car, Taylor.
Right now, Jeffrey Taylor has just absolutely controlled the race, but now looking at the 5, trying to fight his way on through after way up the racetrack, Harper. That still opens up the door for Wyatt to take a poke from the outside, rather moving up. Matthews is the one in the poke.
These two similar looking race cars here, Wyatt and Matthews right now fighting each other inside the top 10s for that 9th position. So Wyatt going backwards here, Aaron Matthews starting to try to come forward in that 5. Aaron Matthews, Kevin Ruff, those are the two on the cutoff. Ruff wrecked early, damaged up there, mired in 20th right now, and Matthews pulling forward. That's a big swing for him. Some stage points if he holds on in this position. Obviously still a bit to go to that point, and more to go throughout the rest of the race as well. That 5 can really, really hurt Ruff in the point standings.
Absolutely, at this point, Kevin Ruff, for reference, still is running 20th, 10 seconds behind your race leader. Fall off so far over the course of these 40 laps, only 1 second. Short track fall off, not a lot here tonight. These tires are holding up very well around this facility, as we see an Arsene on the 12.
And that will be another position lost there for King to Warren Young. So Young coming forward in the 1. It's another one of those aero machines in that 1 car coming forward. So they're doing pretty good on the long runs right now with those pieces of equipment. Some good setups under the hood. And Nick King struggling, falling backwards. You see some more drivers out of that 12. His mirror is getting pretty full every lap right now.
Yeah, we're seeing some of the drivers just swarming on the back end of the 12. King really struggling rotation center, it looks like. Does have acceleration off, but it's just not cutting. That car just seems like it's stiff as a board by the middle of the corner, Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, he either wasn't comfortable having a free car here tonight and set it up tight and is paying for that right now, or he's just burnt the right front off of it, has nothing to lean on anymore at this point. And you can see when he gets to the exit of the corner, he's got some momentum because of the higher run, but through the middle of the turn, the 12 just has absolutely nothing he can do compared to the cars around him.
You need rotation to be able to make sure
he got the wall.
That was chaotic in the heart of a pack. Medina made a move. Barry Sanders being pushed up the racetrack. King just did not turn on the entry either, and now is able to settle on in. Now in the 18th spot in the running order as a result of that situation. So now it's going to be the matter for the rest of these competitors to see where things settle in. We have only about 30 to go in stage 1, this stage flying.
Yeah, laps will click by quickly here when you're under green. So already 45 laps into this one. We've only had the one early caution, and since then we've been completely green, and the laps are flying by. Indeed, you see right there, Chris Davis. We talked to him a little bit earlier, struggling back there in 18th. He's moved his way up to 15th, so starting to climb forward a little bit in the long run. He's going to need to find some more later in the race, though, if he wants to compete for a win here. We've seen him on a few occasions this season, though, run like this early in races and get that car a lot better, play some good strategies, and find himself up to the front at the end of the night.
You up the road a little bit from him. Matt Cox continues his march. Now he's in the top 10 with a pass on Aaron Matthews. Also making their way on through is Kyle Holden. Goes right back into the pace speed differences we were talking about when it comes to Cox this season. Matthews doing a solid job. He's doing his job to at least be in position for some points here for these stages.
Yeah, this 32 and 88 have been kind of tied at the hip here since they got near each other on the beginning of this run, working their way through the field in sync with one another. Cox passes one, Holden passes them. Cox has pulled away a little bit from Holden, a little bit better in traffic, but this 88 still tagging along, pulling his way forward. This will put him in the top 10 when he passes Shane White here.
Able to move to the inside. 88. Slow rolls to bottom. Be in position to clear for the next time around. Wyatt, give him credit, is trying hard as he might, but the car not able to stick on the center speed for what you can do on the bottom at this point of the run. By the way, for those wondering what's going on up at the front, Taylor still holds on by 6/10. Matthews now attacking, trying to find his way around Wyatt. Nearly lost it at the bottom of the racetrack. And that's something we've seen a lot of times drivers do. Exit turn 4, that bottom groove. When you're side by side, you can get loose like that.
Yeah, oh, big moment for Shane White. He got loose there out of 2 and smacked the wall down the back straightaway. It's going to bring Matthews right back to his inside, so we're not done battling. Wyatt damaged that race car, too. Look at that right front. He's going to let that 5 right on by. That's some pretty heavy damage for the 23. He hit the wall hard.
Yeah, that's not good for them right now. That right front is demolished. Damage as well to the front Vesca, so to speak, on the front bumper. So we'll see where things now play out for the 23 with the damage. Currently running in 12th position. Was about to say, up front, Taylor's led them all so far. The fall off now is about 1.1, 1.2 seconds. But you know who's in second? Alex Coffey, who's trying to find a way to chip away the gap. Coffey, the pole sitter, still looking to try and get a lead lap on the night.
Yeah, I think Coffey's just a little bit quicker at this point in the run, but the 9 of Taylor is still really strong, not really losing too much. That 54, the gap stays pretty stagnant. Maybe the 54 closes in a little bit here and there as he's gradually just closed it ever so slightly. See a bit of a different line though. Coffey higher up the racetrack, trying to cut down on exit towards that yellow line out of turn 2. Looking somewhere for some grip and a little bit of clean air as well as that 9 car clogs the bottom line.
Right now, these drivers in a strong rhythm. It's a rhythmistic racetrack around this facility where if you don't get into a pattern of things, it's so difficult to be able to get things done. There's always been 2 approaches I've heard when it comes to this track. Trying to go for a double diamond per se around the yellow line, or just trying to flat out roll the yellow line. What's your preference around this track these days?
Yeah, I mean, I used to like to just enter on the bottom and wrap it and hold it down there until exit, kind of drive the shortest and straightest version of the track as I could. don't feel like the grip is there to do that anymore. You kind of got to enter higher, use a little bit of racetrack, maybe a little bit of a diamond, and you know, a lot of that changes when you're around another car as well. You got to race the car around you and give them room and find your way around them. And you know, we saw Coffey and Taylor a week ago at Watkins Glen. They were battling for the lead, and they had contact in the S's, and you know, Coffey wasn't too happy about that, and the 9 car didn't meet it by any means, but just got into him. And I mean, that's what you can see at Richmond too. It's a really tight racetrack, and when you get side by side, it's just tough to find somewhere to go. But Matt Cox is finding an easy path around every car he catches right now.
Seeing right now, Matt Cox now up to the 6th position, mind you, with the way things have gone. Kyle Holden up in 7th, staying lockstep together. Their march forward coming up towards 16 to go on the stage. Up note, Timothy Harper just put the car down pit road. The 42 had already lost 5 laps this race, so they get off the circuit. But for now, we'll see where things really solidify. At this point, things are looking really good for Cox and Holden to be able to potentially maybe battle for the top spot by the time we are in the middle of stage 2, you would have to think.
Yeah, I would think they're trending in that direction. Holden's had a whale of a time here because that 32 just punches a hole from everywhere they go, and he just follows them right on through. You see Wyatt here in the 23. That's Carr on the inside in the 25. Not a driver we talk about too often. Really quiet a lot of the time. Doesn't make many mistakes. Just kind of minds his P's and Q's and finds decent finishes there in that 25 machine. Just picked up a position for 14th. One of the biggest movers so far on your leaderboard there. Plus 8 positions. He's having a really strong run here tonight.
Right now, not bad of a race for the 25, up 8 situation. Back to Coffey, and they try and see the close up. It's now within a full 0.4 of a second. It's been minuscule gains, but it's been enough to at least close slightly, Jeremy. Just enough to provide pressure. Not sure if there's going to be enough time with the amount of time he's picked up marginally to have a chance at ascent here unless Taylor slips up.
Yeah, mistake for Taylor, and obviously just running different lines in the 54, and now saw 3 and 4 last time was on the bottom. This time moved up a little. He's been up on the outside 1 and 2 for a while now, middle, not the outside. But the other big thing here, you see the lap traffic up there in front of him. There's a gaggle of race cars that they look to be on pace to catch before this stage ends, and that could have a severely negative effect on the 9 cars. He would go from clean air this entire stage to some dirty air right there, and Coffey's definitely faster right now.
Yep, right now, see some of the movers on the pylon itself. 16 spots for Holden is a lot. But it's been that type of race for the 88 on speed. Less than 10 laps to go. Harper did, by the way, come onto the pit road after nearly a minute and a half of repairs. So the last car running is still running. Nicholas Atwood and Jared Clark are amongst those who peeled in for various issues. Lots of traffic right in front of the race leader. Could play a factor. 3 cars battling hard right in front of the leader.
And they're battling for a lot. I mean, they do not want to get lapped this late in the stage, and if they do get lapped, they're really not going to want to be the one that misses out on the lucky dog. So this will not be easy work for Venina Taylor, even though he's a lot quicker than these cars. Oh, you see Norfrey there closing the door a little, and he's looking to the inside of King right there. King has fallen all the way back to 22nd this run. That car is really struggling. They're just struggling right to turn so bad they can't even put up a fight, really. Both of them going to get lapped in one corner by the 9.
Going to the inside. 6 to go. Next time by the come of the stripe. Coffey trying to find a way to get the car to rotate to get alongside the 9. Next layer of traffic would be the 24 of Huff. That would be the 21st place car if they do reach it. But Coffey's faster. Just a little bit, and now tries to charge the high side yet again.
You gotta be careful on the entries when you're running that different of a line. Coffee able to carry a bit more speed on entry, aiming at that angle than the car running the bottom. There's a little bit of a point where they meet in the middle, and you could have some contact if you don't time it right as the car trailing in behind with the 54. And it looked close there. Contact with the wall there for Nia Taylor. He's giving that car all it's got right now, trying to hold all to 54 for the stage win.
Trying the diamond line yet again. He's been good off corner exit of 2 with that momentum. Not enough to be able to lunge though. 4 to go. This time Coffee found a clean air pocket a little bit on the bottom of the racetrack. Not close enough for a lunge, but he is trying, as he might. Capital Ruffles so at risk of being lapped now all of a sudden to close up the stage. Coffee's got the move. Taylor trying to move up. Taylor blocks it off.
And Coffee doesn't seem to get the same run as he does when he's running high, when he runs the bottom. I think that 9's smart to take away Coffee's higher line. He may not be as fast as Coffee up there, but he can at least block it, force the 54 to go somewhere else and see if he can find a way around. Even 9 doing a great job right now with defensive driving through 1 and 2 especially.
Able to respond with the line sensitivity. And now the top's taken away. Ruff falls all the way down to 21st. His car started losing about a second a lap and now gets lapped. 2 to go in the stage here from Richmond. Coffee looking for an opportunity to go. Yet again matched line to line by Taylor, again rolling the bottom. 1 to go coming up in the stage. They might reach the 24 to take away a line.
Hey, all Coffee's thinking about right now is that playoff point. If you can get by this 9 car, we'll see how much it means to him, how much he's willing to put on the line for it. Got another run here down the back straightaway. Does he put a bumper to the 9, or does he just settle in behind here in turn 3?
Oh, he does go for a bump. Takes the bumper in 3, hits it again in 4. Taylor holds on to the stripe. Green, white, checker flag going to Jeffrey Taylor. Alex Coffee second. Gallimore, Bikey, Rogers, Cox, Holden, Fenner Place, Moore, and Tim Wortman Jr. all get top 10s as our first stage comes to a close. An interesting first stage, and it puts us under the O. We'll take a quick break. You're watching Ballin TV for tonight's coverage. The OB Builders Cup Series, the PayRVA 250. Continues more after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's action, the PayRVA 250. It's Taylor and Coffey, Gallimore and Bikey, Rogers and Cox in the first 6 positions. As we get set for the restart. The restart zone brought to you by Sim Rat Market. Outside doesn't go. Inside does. The beast mode cars all lined up inside. Get a good boost.
Yeah, at this point, you can't say it was because it was the inside line for Coffey. Another absolutely terrible restart from the outside in P2. He's going to drop the P5 here with Bikey on the inside if he can't hold off this position. He's going to get cleared. So Coffey needs to figure out these restarts because you just can't fight your way all the way back through traffic. And now you look at who's out there on the back of him, the 32 of Matt Cox, who might have been the fastest car in the field that last run, just never had the track position, worked his way all the way up inside the top 10, the P6. And now Coffey's going to have to defend that all from behind while trying to work his way back forward. He is surrounded by beast mode cars, though, right now. They make up 5 of the top 6 positions.
As the BMP machines look rapidly quick tonight, to say the very least. Coffey already drop kicked from 2nd to 5th. Another short run, not starting off with a 54 plan. Most of the field single filing out to start things off, though we do have some battling in the 20s. Outside of that, it's about setting the tone here, Jeremy, especially knowing you have an air stop 150. One dropper slow on the front straightaway. Hold on one moment. That was Caden Norfray who was really slow there with the save.
Yeah, Norfray lap down after we ended that stage, getting lapped with just a few to go and not able to attain the lucky dog, and that's not going to be a positive start to this stage for him, as now he's fallen the last out of those lap down cars with that mistake there. Oh, Tim Harper's dead. That car is absolutely destroyed. I don't know where that came from. He just suddenly snapped into the outside wall head on. Not going to be a caution, though. He's going to see if he can roll that car back around the pit road, but massive hit for 42. His night is over. That might be an RRS button boxes replay there. In fact, will be. He says, thank you very much on the radio. He did get a tap. Watch the 24 in 3 and 4. We'll take a look here. Disagreement between these two drivers on the radio won't happen. 42 runs kind of half middle, half bottom, and 24 just gets into the left rear and sends him up the racetrack. I think Harper held his line there, and Huff looks like might have thought he saw more of a gap than there actually was. We have a spinner up front straight away. Norfray spun out as well. And now one of the dig cars has gone around. He is now stuck on the front straightaway and just towed it. Not a good set of laps for Norfray in the 56. Here's our leader, though, Jeffrey Taylor. He's just hoping that it stays green with all the chaos behind him, as he's stretched his lead out to a 2.5 seconds already to start off the stage. What can he do to respond to a car like this? Because Taylor just seems untouchable in clean air right now. Yeah, I mean, we've seen Coffey on the back end of the run and had the pace, but you can't give up 4 spots on a restart. You just can't do that. So he needs to find a way to stop that bleed early in these runs, and now, I mean, he's going to struggle. Like, these are good race cars that he got passed by. It's not like he's going to be able to drive right back around them. And Aaron Matthews in the picture now in P6. He's kind of come from nowhere here. He was running, just outside the top 10 there and showing some speed in the 5. Maybe he got some adjustments he really liked, and it's time for him to come forward. Yeah, we're curious what's going to happen here for some of these drivers, but so far, it's about throwing into the kitchen sink in terms of finding momentum. Matthews pushing up a little bit. Still up to 14. Matthews amongst those, trying a little bit of that higher line, trying to get the diamonds down. Just can't get it to rotate to be able to get that same cut Coffey was getting earlier. Well, I don't quite see Coffey getting that cut either right now. He's pushing that car pretty hard. You can see it on the exits when he's right up the back bumper at Bikey. He's pushing the tires on his machine a little bit tough. He's going to get a run to the inside here at the 27, looking to come back forward for that 4th position here. Bikey's not going to put up much of a fight. Ooh, tight squeeze there, trying to get back in front of Matthews, though, without giving up 2 spots. He's able to do so, though, so Coffey back up to P4 now. He's got to move a little bit forward to go catch Rogers. That 54, I mean, he's good. He's showed he's good. He's got to work through his traffic as quick as he can to have a chance to make up all that time on Taylor. All near bumper-to-bumper contact. Matthews having to back up the corner a little bit to avoid hitting the 27. I'll queue up
all around the bottom of the racetrack for now. So everyone remain patient. Brandon Bikey is one of the drivers coming in, at least to the season, you would think would be amongst the championship contenders so far. If the players were to start, he'd be the 3 seed.
Yeah, Bikey we've seen have some real pace and just have races not go his way. I think probably should have a win or two more to his name, and I think in the playoffs we'll start to see more of what that driver can do, and he's going to be a real threat to win the championship. The 27 machine's fast every week in this series, and I remember Dover, you know, it really stands out. Best car there, and just things didn't quite go his way, and had a few races like that over the course of the season.
Right now, everyone's settled forward. By the way, Timothy Harper is officially parked for the night. North Ray been in pit road for about a minute, and Ryan Huff just looped it on the front straight away. Running for 21st and has just come back into the grass, and another driver having issues with their car snapping loose.
Yeah, I'm thinking some of these guys probably got tight in the first run as we take a look at the R spot in boxes replay here, the 24. And it's just going to be too much throttle, not the best angle, and he gets himself loose and spins down to the inside the racetrack. But I think some of these guys probably got tight towards the end of the first run, wore off those right fronts a little, made some adjustments to free up their race cars, but they were probably still free at the front end of the run last time and just made their cars too free to handle this early in the run.
It's such a balancing act to be able to set up these cars in general. Make sure you have the speed where it needs to be. Tim Wortman Jr. has got a 10th place car. He's been stuck in 10th for what it feels like a while. -5 from a starting spot, but the Warrior Racing machine seems to at least have the driver skill to be able to fight with the 34 like right here.
Yeah, we've seen Wortman really hanging around the top 5 a lot recently. Bit of an off night for V83 to that standards, but still a solid night nonetheless. Top 10 right now for V83 of Tim Wortman Jr. And, you know, there's a driver that I can bank my hat on every week is going to figure it out and get better throughout the night. It's going to be that 83. So I don't think this is where he's going to finish, and I think that car continues to get better as we go, and he'll find his way forward before this thing's over.
Right now.
Oh, Wyatt just got turned.
No caution yet. We're still green, despite the 23 being sideways. King. What are they trying to do back here?
Oh, and Wyatt's in the fence. I don't know what's going on here at the 23. Crashing out a little.
Yeah, let's see. Remember, King's had issues on entry center, especially center tight. He did try and go for a pass. Yep, it pushed up again.
Yeah, King's just way too deep in the back. I don't know how it's not a caution. King is just way too deep into that corner. He was never going to make that turn on the inside of Wyatt and wiped him out, and almost spun himself into the outside wall trying to get back going right there in the 12, so lit up the rear tires as well for him. They're right with each other again.
Yeah. All grouped together once more, but some of the others trying some attempts to make passes. Right now, Rogers trying to find a way to poke around the 54, getting some close calls here. Sean Rogers has had great speed at times this season, especially in some of the road courses. Would be the 5 seed if the playoffs started today. What do you think about Rogers and what he's done now in the ovals compared to what we've seen on the road course?
Yeah, I mean, definitely going to be stronger at the ovals for Sean Rogers. Having a good run here right now. P4 just got passed by Coffey. Those two drivers always race each other really hard. Had a bit of a close moment when that pass was executed by the 54. But the 44, I mean, he got passed, but he's still hanging right in tow. Good machine here tonight, and I think the bigger tracks seem to suit Sean Rogers a little better, and we see a little more of those 1.5 miles, Darlington, some tracks like that in the playoffs. I think the 44 should be a bit stronger when we come to those racetracks. And that's not to say he's not strong tonight, but I just expect him to run better at those facilities.
Yeah. traffic right in the middle of the battle. Oh, and Rogers sent it again. And door slam shut. No place to go on through quite yet in the end. But this is the tough thing about the traffic. Now we're going to see a fair bit of traffic for the next bit, because you have Kane who can get lapped again. Ryan Huff, who had the spin earlier, about to get lapped. This is all causing a bit of a box up now for some of these drivers with where they're reaching the lap cars here.
Yeah, and we see, they've kind of all collapsed in each other on this top 5 as well. Taylor has lost that lead. The Gallimore is chasing down his teammate a little bit. Coffee, Rogers, Bikey, see Cox in the picture too. He's starting to close back in on these guys as well. So catching some lap traffic, and the leaders are all closing in on one another, can create some really good racing for us.
All right, Gallimore having a good run here tonight. Very quietly. He's been running second this run. And he's been a solid competitor, but needed a good run in this series tonight, because needs some points. Right now would be 14th seed if the postseason starts today. Needs to kind of get some points gathered up. Maybe even get a stage win or two. But Coffee is going to make the pass. 3 wide with lap traffic on the bottom. As Coffee sends it up the bottom.
Yeah, Huff hit a pit road there on the bottom, right there. Creating a little bit of a jump scare, but Coffee now clear of Gallimore there for that second position. CV11 is going to try to fire back in on that outside. Just no grip there for him. He carried it up into the wall. It's going to allow his teammate Sean Rogers to get to his inside now. See how hard he fights the 44. Looks like he will battle him here off of turn 4, which is something Coffee would like to see in the mirror. Get some breathing room as he goes and tries to chase down that 9 of Jeffrey Taylor.
Right now, swiftly moving their way through. Gallimore now trying to hold back his teammate. Does for now. Bikey does go a little bit deeper into the corners. But no chance to be able to peel alongside unless there's a mistake that's built up here. By the way, as mentioned, lap traffic could play a factor in terms of the intervals for the race to lead. Nick Kane is fighting hard. He does not want to get lapped.
Yeah, he's still rifling it off in there on the outside, and man, it's not turning good for center, but it gets the run off, and it holds on to the right rear of that 9 car, and it's pulling Coffee in quickly. Taylor needs to get clear of this 12. He's got him here. No, King's going to get another huge run out of turn 2. Taylor cannot clear the 12.
Yeah, this is a problem. Losing a lot of time right now, and Coffee's gaining up substantially. This also burns up the tires for the 9. Coffee just running his own line. Kane fighting and getting good runs here. Where does Coffee now go? They're boxed in. Taylor goes up the track, trying almost to push the 12 up the circuit. Coffee waits as Kane hits the wall this time, goes way up the track.
He's still trying to get back to the throttle though, to keep on the outside of the leader. Not going to do it. Hits the wall again. We'll see if he gives Coffee as much of a fit now that he is a lap down, or if he just lets that 54 on through. But that was a tough battle for the 9. That was the hardest pass he's had to make so far tonight on the lap car. And yeah, King's still going to hang tough on the outside of Coffee right now. So looks like he might try to hold up the 54 just as much as he held up the 9 there. We'll see what happens here for 1 and 2. Still way wide in that 12, but yeah, he's going to hang on the right side of Coffee right now. This is where you start to get frustrated if you're the lead lap cars, but he did just clear him now, and King starts to fall further backwards. Next will be Sean Rogers in that 3rd position.
And we'll see. This now goes. But you see the top 2 have able to clear through. Rogers now trying to make a peel to the inside. Sean Rogers tries to get the rotation down. And Nick Kane fighting everybody hard at this point. I mean, he is in the lucky dogs. He's not.
No, he's 2 laps down. Yeah,
He's 2 laps down.
I don't quite understand this at this point. I mean, you know, I get the leader, but you're 2 laps down and you're racing guys that have nothing to do with your race whatsoever and putting them in harm's way. And oh man, you're 2 laps down. You cut the guy a break there, Justin. You let them have the lane off of the exit when it's that tight.
So, Kane not making friends here. These lap cars try, or he has the lead lappers try and slice the way on through. Get another fight for them. By the way, the race lead stayed single file as they all get queued up. Yeah, something's got to give here. Kane's running his line, but it's causing a traffic jam.
You can run your line and cut the guy a break. I mean, when they're 2 inches from clearing you, you don't need to keep your nose stuffed in there on the outside. Richmond, it's so hard to get up off the corners. You're kind of asking for issues. See right there, you know, let Blake clear up off the exits. That's what you got to do in this situation. You're 2 laps down, you're not fighting these guys for anything. It's just...
Hold on, we have Alex Coffey pitting. Alex Coffey is pitting on lap 46. They should be able to make it, can they not?
Yeah, this is not a fuel mileage call, so either something went wrong with the fuel mileage for the 54 and he didn't have enough to make it to the end of stage, or there's something else affecting him right now that's causing him not to pull off the racetrack.
Yeah, not sure. He was running second, battling for the race lead, and
no tires. Yeah, he has an issue.
Do you think he accidentally underfueled the car?
Must have. I don't know what else could have happened here. That is a really terrible mistake to make here, though, in this situation.
Confusing, but we do also hear that he was also having a lightning storm nearby. There was a hope that there isn't going to be any power outages or anything along those lines. So an interesting situation now that puts Coffey a lap down and in the lucky dog spot after battling for the race lead. By the way, here's the look you're seeing on screen with Matt Cox and Kyle Holden. They haven't been able to join that conversation for the race lead, likes that look to be the potential possibility with their speed. They've been stuck about 2 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah, it just gets harder to pass the cars up front here, but, you know, track position will be a little bit better to start the final stage. We'll see if they have a little bit more. Holden, though, the big thing I'm noticing here, closer to Cox than he was at this point in the last run, so 88 seems to have gotten a little better. Maybe the 32 cooked the stuff a little bit this time. See if the 88 can find his way around Cox, as he's all over that back bumper right now, and maybe find his way forward towards the front.
Here comes a send up the inside, and Cox dragged his car against the fence a little bit. Hold it. Making the move and moving up one more spot. So, nicely done on the pass. Nicely settled back on down. 21 laps to go in the stage. Curious your thoughts on the look of this new iRacing feel here. I know we had the grandstands for so long on the back straightaway, but in real life, that back straightaway grandstand was gone like half a decade ago. It's good to see this track now look real life with the Toyota letters that will stand out.
Yeah, it's great from this perspective, but I'll tell you, I hated it as a driver because this is one of the only tracks that I almost approached similar to a road course where I had marks that I used, just solid marks, like to hit my corners exactly where I wanted to every lap, and they got rid of both of them on both ends of the track, so had to kind of relearn what I wanted to do here. Most ovals, you kind of just approach each corner as is, but this track, something about it, you can kind of just approach it that way with a more methodical and, you know, straightforward approach, and you know, you still can do that, obviously. It's just had to relearn it. That, and some of the patchwork, like you saw the patch that Holden went over there in the turn one, that really upsets the race car. If you downshift while you're crossing that, because you are shifting on both ends, or some drivers just 1 and 2 here, it can really throw your rear tires out of whack if you do it as you're on that patch.
I was going to say, that patch does stand out a little bit in terms of the pavement around here. Of course, the Real NASCAR Cup schedule getting announced in Richmond amongst those that do, of course, get a date. And Richmond Raceway, amongst those next year that will see its date a bit of a shuffle around once again because of the alignment of things. So we'll see how things fare out in 2026 here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's okay to say it. The brass is out of touch. Not to get too much into it, but the new schedule has some serious issues across the board, and obviously the format issues as well, as they continue to kind of alienate the fans and move in a negative direction with the sport. It's always frustrating to see, but hopefully someday we can move forward, get away from this race car, get to some better looking schedules and better racing across the board.
So what you're saying is you want more races at Rockingham?
I would like Dover to have a points race for one. That's the big one for me. Going to be an all-star racing today at what track that went from 2 points races now to none. And just to add another race in North Carolina, which I understand it's where the sport was built and everything is fundamentally based out of there, but they continue to strip races from other parts of the country to cater to one little subsection of the country.
How about we find our way away from left field in terms of that conversation? That went exactly the opposite of how I thought that was going to go. Now, the race lead is under a second still. We are under 15 laps to go on the stage. And right now, Sean Rogers is actually the one up in second. Galmore's gone backwards as of the past few laps. So the 44 is one of the faster cars on the racetrack and is trying to find a way to reel things in a team 1, 2, 3.
And the mistake out of Coffey, a big break for him as well. He would have had to go through that 54 machine, but not going to have to make any passes to catch Taylor up there in front. But I think Colden looks really good right now. He's closed up on these guys, and we saw him in that first stage flying through field. I mean, plus 19 at Richmond. He's got a really good piece behind these two. Bikey, Rogers, Holden. I think Cox is still strong as well. I mean, obviously our leader, Taylor, just been dominating this event.
Yeah, right now we're seeing just this field try and solidify itself in a comfortable spot. Now it's going to be a matter of seeing where stage 3 road takes us. Because stage 3, what does that fuel mileage look like? Because Warren Young just came in. Can they make the full 100 laps? Is the simple question. Because Warren Young also sped, so I think the one maybe point in, but what's that mileage now look like for stage 3? Is it a 90 lap run, or can you go say a 110 like some years we've seen?
Yeah, I think they should be able to make it in that final stage on fuel. It might be a little bit close, but I think they should have what they need to get there. I would question the tires typically here, but they're just not wearing out tonight. They hit the cliff about a second off and kind of just stay there the entire run. So I don't know if they're going to have to make that stop or not. I would lean towards no, though.
That was the big question, and that's a rarity. Having a race with all 3 stages without a potential green flag stop will be one of the first this season. Holden, by the way, is now in the top 3 with that move on Bikey. The 88 coming alive is running a 10th quicker than everybody up front with less than 10 laps to go on the stage. Good chance to be able to take away a couple points here.
Yeah, 88 is really my fastest car on the track every lap right now. I think Taylor, if he's been paying attention to his relative, is going to be scared of this 88 starting with track position in this final stage, and Holden has definitely made that car better as this night's gone on, way faster than he was in the first stage when I think he was already one of the fastest cars on the track. So not going to have the time to get there right now to Taylor, but he should have the chance to pick up the spot from Rogers right now before the end of the stage.
See, can he make a pass pretty soon? Rogers comfortable in his arcs right now. They're close up by Holden by an car length or so. Just slowly chomping away the time with the rhythm here. Just look on board. Clipped a little bit of the apron this time, going to lose some of the time back. Holden might be a contender to battle for this stage lead, or for this race lead at the very least. in stage 3. Matt Cox, by the way, stayed stable in the 5th position for the comparison of those who came for the back and marched their way to the front here at Richmond. Coming to 3 laps to go here in stage 2.
Yeah, Holden trying to close up on that 44 still, just not quite finding the momentum he needs to do so. Rogers putting together some really good laps right now as well, and obviously Taylor up front just continues to maintain that steady lead as he has the entire race. That 9 car is having one of the better runs we've seen all season.
Great chances here to see now. Holden wrapping the O line around the racetrack again. Ready to try and get the arrow loose off the 44. Coming to 1 to go in stage number 2. It's been a pretty clean race tonight from the action track. 1 to go for Taylor. Taylor has so far been putting up a clinic on how to lead here at Richmond. 149 of 149 laps led. Holden tries a little bit of a bump, likes to back up, not go too hard as Taylor takes stage 2. Rogers, Holden, Bikey, Cox, Gallimore, Matthews, Fetter Place, Moore, and Carr are amongst the top 10 as the top 10 have now crossed the line for the yellow flag. So 2 stages done, 1 to go. More coverage of the PayRVA 250 continues after this. You watch the OB Builders Cup Series on Ballin TV. Welcome back everyone to Ballin TV. More coverage of tonight's action here from Richmond. Justin Prince, Jeremy Miller with you as we continue our PayRVA 250 coverage. Stage 3, 95 lap run. So a little bit longer than where we've ran so far here tonight on the stages. but Kyle Holden trying to break up the BMP showcase. 154 of 154 so far. Led laps by Jeffrey Taylor. He leads the field with an early launch of the restart zone brought to you by SimRap Market. He's off and away from the bottom.
Another really good launch there by Taylor. You see Bikey there files in the second hold and fighting with the 44 for P3. Going to be clear there out of turn 2. That was close though. Maybe he didn't get quite clear. He might have bounced off of him a little as he's still side by side there as they get down to turn 3. But he will clear him now off of turn 4.
Definitely had a little bit of a bounce off, but able to still hold on to it. More charge back. Cox bounces off the 44. A slide through turn 2. Off of Matthews he goes. He locks it up for the caution. Just our second caution for incident tonight.
Everybody in the back does a great job scrambling, mostly avoiding that 32. See a bit of damage on the front of that race car, but it could have been a lot worse sitting in front of traffic like he was.
Our Spun Boxes replay coming up as that sees Cox bounce off of Matthews for the left side damage and some error off Barry Sanders for the right side damage. And a great job to keep it from sliding through the field. Mostly everyone got through okay.
Yeah, just a bit of a mistake there from Cox. He just got into that corner a bit too deep, got into his teammate, got himself sideways, and it went around on him. We're going to take a look on board with the 14 at Cabin Rough. He had a great view of this one. A bit of a dicey moment there behind Barry Sanders.
Yep, right there, look out. Able to keep it off cars and be able to get some more damage repair done. See this again from Sanders. Did have some air, let's call it, between him and the left front as he slid on by, but it's still enough to damage Cox.
Yeah, he got out there unscathed, but not so fortunate for the 32.
So that puts us under yellow, and Lucky Dog, it was actually last time by Alex Coffey, but he also spent more time in the pit box and lost a lap again. Coffey again getting the lead lap back here. So going to be definitely something we have to ask about with him later on. But still in the race, that's the key. Speaking of key, as the hiccups come on in, Taylor tries to avoid having any hiccups. 159 laps. It's just been a domination station day for the 9.
It's been untouchable so far, and you know, I just don't know what he could do to lose this race at this point. It's really going to be on somebody behind him to find a way to beat that 9 car, and it's looked like it's going to be a tall task tonight for somebody to pull that off.
Field now doubling up. Matt Cox did lose, just about lose a lap with the damage repair. See how things get sorted out. Here he is, off and away after a lot of repair, but the rest of the field gets itself sorted out here. 89 laps to go. Interestingly enough, Taylor's chose the bottom the past 2 times for the SimRap Market restart zone. He's chosen the top sometimes to help out teammates. Not right now. He's off and away. Top 2 gets sorted. Rogers tries to get sorted in the battle for 3rd quickly, as Holden nearly cleared, couldn't.
Yeah, couldn't quite get clear. The 44 kind of stuck with the back bumper of the 27 in front of him, but he'll get him this time there. But Rogers going to fight tough back on the outside. Not going to be enough to get to the outside of the 88. Holden in the P3. We'll see if he can find a way around Bikey quickly. But Gallimore, though, we saw him really strong earlier in the second stage. Fell a little bit back towards the end of it, but was still running pretty good. He's trying to find his way back forward on this restart.
Gallimore getting peeled back by Matthews a little bit. 11 trying to go for a swoop and a block. Instead, Matthews swoops underneath. Makes things interesting as Matthews having the type of night he needs for points for the postseason. So now the battles continue. Meanwhile with Holden, he's still not done yet for third.
Yeah, Rogers right now is going to have a good fight for his position. You saw Holden really wide there, as wide as we've really seen anybody all night. Got a huge run down the back straightaway to clear back on that 44. We'll put it back on the yellow line here for 3 and 4. It gets right to the back bumper of Bikey. Bikey kind of parking that 88 once again. They're going to stack these guys up. You see Matthews trying to get to the inside of Rogers. Some contact there between those two. 44 got a little bit squirrely on the entry of that corner.
Yeah, some of these drivers starting to really get feisty here. Now the points definitely being laid on the line here. Holden still yet to find a way around for second. Just taking his time, not moving up the line, risking a dive to the inside quite yet. By the way, for those curious, Alex Coffey has so far recovered from his situation to be able to battle for 11th. So the 54 is moving through this field. It's one of the faster cars of the racetrack. Last time by, he was 3/10 quicker than the race leader.
I mean, we saw earlier, Coffey had a great car, was really the only person that's even put a fight to Taylor tonight, just was struggling on the restarts, and obviously had something go wrong in the fuel game for him, so he needs to find his way back forward. I think he's going to need the help of some cautions, though, to really have a chance to flip himself back into the front of this field with a chance to win the race.
They're peeled down to the bottom. This time Matthews trying to poke and prod for the 4th spot. No. And still trying everything he can. He is, unlike Kyle Holden, not just sticking the bottom and remain patient. He's trying different lines to search for error and search for a way to get a cut down. Still nothing doing in that regard as you see them all lined up. Holden's very content on just riding this back bumper and waiting to see if the 27 is going to slip up, isn't he here, Jeremy?
Yeah, he's really just got nowhere to go. But the other thing I'm looking at here, Taylor did not stretch out a huge lead this run. Previous runs, he stretched way out, and then kind of the middle of the run, they closed it, and then the back end of the run, it was just steady. This time, he has not gotten away. Might be trying to take care of the tires a little bit longer to stage. Probably wants to be a little bit even faster on the back end of this run.
Yeah, absolutely. Long run's been one of his strengths here tonight. Everyone's staying coiled up. These lap times, mind you, run now are already half a second off the personal best of this race so far. Is already a bit of that fall starting to factor on into this run. So what else is going on in terms of things here? Well, we just got a confirmation. Alex Coffey did have a fuel issue, Jeremy. That's why the 54 had to come down. There is a bit of an issue sometimes in the sim where your car doesn't get fuel in it. Let's just put it that way. And, well, he got bit by that bug, and that's why he was down in the back of the field now.
Yeah, unfortunate for Coffey, of course. You know, it could have been worse, though. He's got that lucky dog, found his way back into the top 10 right now up the P9. He's actually trying to catch and work on Chris Davis, just does now get by Chris Davis right at 8th position. So Davis back up in the top 10, having a good run here tonight after struggling a little bit earlier on, but Coffey on a torrent pace through the field.
Looking back at the battle going on for second. See Bikey trying the arc line now, following similar lines to the 9. Holden all over the rear bumper. Now it's 3-car bumper cars as they make their way down the bottom of the racetrack. A little bit of a check up there with them getting coiled up.
Yeah, I still think Holden just seems to have a bit more pace right now. It's just so hard to find a way around. Bikey doing a great job, just hitting his marks, running his line. Not much the 88 can do, and that allows Rogers to get a run on him now because Holden's been pushing himself trying to find that way around the 27. They're going to be side by side, going to be a bit of a run on the outside. Oh, he turned him! Oh!
Caution flag is out.
Piles in.
Better place into it, Holden down the track, look out car. And that was out of nowhere. Kyle Holden was under attack for the first time in a while and gets hit in the left rear by Rogers to put us back under yellow.
Taking a look here at the RS button boxes replay, but we'll see here Rogers on the inside files it off there and there in turn 3 and just overdrives the exit here, slides up and gets him in the left rear. Just a bit of a mistake there to Rogers.
Now for Fetter Place, who was up to 4th, by the way, with that incident. That was straight kablamo into the front nose.
Yeah, just not the right decision made by the 34 attempting to avoid that wreck, and kind of got caught between going high and going low and froze in the moment and got into the 44 of Rogers. Unfortunate for him as well. Kind of just turned down into it.
Yeah, I was about to say, there was a gap up high. Holden did get 14 seconds of damage, he confirmed with the radio. Fetter Place, definitely more than 14. And now that everyone's come down for a set, by the way. No one rolling the dice on strategy. Taylor, Bikey in second. Matthews in 3rd. Coffee does get to 4th with a great pit stop.
That's huge for a 54, Justin. He's going to be in a good spot here. He needs to have a good restart. I know I've harped on it a lot earlier, but this is a spot restarting 4th, not the easiest position to make something happen. He's got to at least maintain that position now that he got it back.
Still no one else has led tonight except for one man, Jeffrey Taylor. This feels like a race where, remember Jeff Burton when he led basically the entire race at New Hampshire one year? Have you also remembered the eNASCAR equivalent at Richmond, even more comparable? Vicente Salas when he led all of the laps. It kind of feels like the Salas moment.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever quite seen somebody to lead all the laps from second. You know, usually like it's a pole sitter that gets that done. I mean, obviously it's easily possible for second to do that, just not typically how we see it unfold. So even more impressive that it's gone that way for him. I'm just trying to think back from my sim racing career. I can really only think of one race where I've ever led all the laps and gotten a win. So it's a special feeling for sure if you can get it done. And I know he's definitely hoping to hold on to it and get that done tonight.
So let's find out how this fares out. Taylor, Bikey, Matthews, and Coffee. Followed in the order by Gallimore, and Chris Davis is up to 6th, believe it or not. Gavin Ruff, Tim Wortman Jr., the top 8. Then it's Carr and Moore, top 10. Some different names joining up here. Matt Cox got an 18th. Green. Back underway from the Simrat Market restart zone. And the battle is on for second. Matthews not backing off.
Way wide there for the 27 of Bikey. 3 wide there. Coffee in the middle of him and Gallimore. Contact between both cars for Coffee. Getting bounced around like a ping pong ball there in the middle. He's still getting bounced around. They're still going to be 3 wide off of turn 4. Coffee hard in the throttle. They're going to try to clear Gallimore as they head down into turn 1. Not going to do it though.
Still not done. Going to be tough to clear. More rubbing. Side by side for the race lead. 3 wide still for 3rd. Aaron Matthews just took away the lead from the 9. Oh, well, Coffee Still not done for the battle for third. Gallimore
Look who's 6.
pokes his way in. Calvin Ruff joins the fun.
Calvin Ruff wrecked early. He's come from nowhere all the way back up here in the top 10. Huge development for the 14. Taylor got that lead taken from him. We've seen the 5 really strong short runs all night long. He's going to have to try to get this 5 back now and try to drive back away with that lead.
Still not done on the battle. Matthews amongst the drivers looking to punch their way in via victories now for the postseason. Can this be the shuffle they've been looking for all run long to join the conversation? Taylor retakes the race lead. Again, Matthews 13 points below the cut line entering the night. More rubbing as Bikey gets pushed up the racetrack for fourth.
Yeah, Coffee arced him out a little bit there. Didn't quite turn in on entry. Really upset the 27 car all the way through the corner. Led into him hitting the wall on exit. That pulls Calvin Ruff in the 14 into the top 5. I can't believe Ruff has recovered to this point.
Another dive for Bikey.
Oh, he was going for that bumper.
Yeah, very lucky he didn't get turned by Ruff either. Ruff goes for the bumper instead. And here we go. Bikey reaches, hits a bumper, gets Coffee loose.
Almost.
Ruff got into Bikey. They all save it. Bikey loses ground, gets taken 3 wide as now they go 2 by 2.
Bikey seeing red, complete anger with Coffee there over the arc. Oh, something happened to Calvin Ruff now, dropping like a fly down the front straightaway. But Bikey, contact with Davis now, just angry with Coffee, tried to get in the back bumper twice, almost wrecked himself off of Ruff's nose the first time, and almost turned himself off Coffee's back bumper the second time.
Here Calamity has an air spin. Chris Davis saves it on the bottom. That sorted itself for the single filing. But the 74, who had track position for the first time all night, has just lost it all. Absolute calamity is built up here at Richmond. Still 58 laps to go. As the battle is on between Taylor and Matthews. Just 2 lead laps outside of Taylor's direction now. But Matthews seems to be in the prime window to do something. He's on what you would believe to be a similar setup to Holden. And Matthews is showing that why that car's been fast tonight.
Yeah, he's been strong on his front runs. He's just struggled to keep the tires on it. I think he pushed it a little bit hard on the beginning of this run as well, which is how he got that lead. So we'll see how it holds on as we develop into this run right now. But right now they have a pretty big gap over Gallimore in third and Coffee in fourth. That fell way back with all that fighting going on with, Bikey. There was some kicking and screaming between all those guys has created a nice gap up front for these two.
Yeah, right now that gap, 1.2, 1.3 seconds, a sizable margin for the time being to work with. Mind you, some of the other drivers are basically amongst the teammates to some of those who've been battling. By the way, with all this, Tim Wortman Jr. is up to 5th. The Warrior Racing Machine definitely working at the ratchets here tonight and the wrenches. Been able to find some speed now for the important third stage.
It's just what he does. He just gets it done out there. Consistently finds himself in the right position to get these good finishes late in these races. 54 to go right now on the back bumper of Coffee, looking for that 4th position.
Yeah, right now just trying to keep up with the 54. Right now the fastest car on the track last time by was not the leader, it was Brandon Bikey, who was down in 6th position behind these drivers.
Yeah, look who he's closing up on again.
Yeah, right to Wortman Jr. and better yet to Alex Coffey. And how hard is it to make sure you keep the emotions in check at a short track like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough in the heat of the moment, which is what we saw on a bike. He just going for that back bumper of the 54. You know, I won't say he was trying to wreck him. I don't think he was. I think he was just trying to punt him back up the track like Coffee did to him. And, you know, really, you can't say it's unfair. You know, Coffee moved him up the track. You can go out there and try to do the same, but you weren't able to get it done. You've had time to cool down now. I'd be surprised if he's still going to be that upset when he gets to the 54. Obviously going to race him hard, but I don't know if he's going to take the swipes like he did.
Absolutely. Still working our way through with 50 to go here from Richmond. A lot of time to try and sort things out. The gap is starting to grow for the race lead, by the way, up to 0.4 of a second amongst the top two separation. 16 cars within 6 seconds of each other. Give the field credit. In past years, we've been seeing tons of lap traffic. We've seen some lap traffic, but not as much as you would think with some of these longer runs tonight.
Yeah, it's, you know, first stage we saw a little, second stage we saw some early because of the issues those drivers had, but the yellow at the beginning of this stage and just, you know, the pace of most of our lead lap cars has put us in a position where I just don't expect to really see them catch any of those guys. Maybe Rogers with the damage back there may catch him in the 44, but other than that, they might catch some of the guys who have previously been lapped. But from Davis on forward, really, I'd feel pretty confident how those drivers will all finish on the lead lap.
See Ruff still looking for a potential way around Bikey. Great third stage after a horrific start to the race. So far. Just line up bumper to bumper, but is at a risk of losing his spot to Holden. Holden's been pressurizing him from the bottom.
Yeah, Holden working his way back forward after the incident with Rogers. Oh, almost a little bit of contact with Bikey there. It's going to be a tight clear up on the 14. He's got to take it, though. Holden back up to P7 right now. That car is fast. Right back to the inside of Bikey as well. He's going to click off too this lap.
Yeah, there is the pass. Haven't moved the 88 up. Holden back to 6. Ruff is taking the chance on Bikey as well for good measure. Bikey swerving down the straightaway, trying to avoid contact. Ruff all over the door, leaning on the 27. In the midst of this is Holden pulls away. Now a door back by Bikey. Ruff nearly getting bumped down off the surface.
Yeah, you can say he got roughed up a little bit right there by Bikey. Bikey's had a few run-ins this run now right now with 27 car. Definitely some frustration there behind the wheel, just not going the way he wanted it to in the final run of the race here. Barring any cautions, this is going to continue to fall backwards for the 27. Look at Greg Carr in the 25. Just haven't really talked about him enough, and I know we've hit on it a few times. Really good run. Oh, contact again between the 14 and the 27, though, right in front of him.
Ruff seems to be in a spot to be able to clear by, though. Just has to get the power down, finish the job, and, well, he cleared himself across the bumper. Bikey crossing up for good measure. That was not the cleanest clear, but Ruff has the spot now compared to the 27 on speed.
Yeah, good move there for Ruff on the 14, and you know, he needs these spots with Matthews up there running second. Those two in the points battle headed in the next week for that final cutoff spot, barring an outside winner or one of those two winning. Every spot matters so much at this point in the season.
Meanwhile, the 5's going backwards. Matthews has lost second, is at risk of losing third. Gallimore's moved up. So Matthews tried to push hard, but he's fallen off a bit here. How about 4/10 off the pace last time by compared to the cars around him?
Yeah, just burned his stuff up, pushing really hard at the beginning of that run, got the lead for a couple laps, but not able to hold on to that pace as the tires wear. He loses third there to Coffee, and Wortman Jr. not far behind is going to look to take away P4 here in a moment.
Some more wiggles now form up. Poke now by Wortman Jr. checked up significantly. They regroup and reset. So now it's the matter of will there be enough of a close-up for some of these drivers here. Taylor seems to be in the driver's seat the rest of this run with the long run speed really kicking on in.
I'll tell you, the 88's running some really good laps right now there in 6. I mean, if he gets through this traffic quickly, he's not out of this.
We've seen the traffic be a major factor already here tonight. So, but the problem is, traffic's going to take a while to get to here. Sean Rogers might be the closest to being off the lead lap here, but outside of that, most of the field is all at the same part of the racetrack. Wortman Jr. now to the inside.
Yeah, these are the important moments for Holden there behind. He needs these two to figure this out quickly and try to follow through the passing car of Wortman to pick up that spot on the 5 as fast as he can. As he was running ones a moment ago, but now stuck behind these two. He runs a 38 that time by. Still faster than our leader, even with these two cars impeding his progress.
Oh, it's some bumper-to-bumper contact. Holden trying to go around.
3/10 that lap he lost with this.
Yeah, absolute traffic jam. Now as Holden tries the outside. Wortman Jr. just lets him have it with Holden being in a good spot. But the problem is, the speed on average needs to be in the 22.3s. Holden's there, the others were not. As now he runs into a teammate.
Easy move there for him. No fight from Matthews in the 5. Lets the 88 on through. See what the lap time looks like this time for Holden. Back to a 6 with that pass, so he's going to need to find some more pace now that he has that clean track. Come back forward. He lost another 3/10 to Taylor that lap trying to get around those race cars.
"31 laps to go here from Richmond. Right now, the lead 1.4 seconds. Things looking really good for Taylor to add another win sticker to the 9 machine. Just needs to make it around cleanly. What would you be telling Taylor at this point, especially knowing they are reaching some of that lap traffic we were talking about towards Rogers and where he is on the interval?
Yeah, I think Taylor really needs to just be thinking about the tires right now. Just continue to take care of those. And, you know, he came into this race plus 52 on the cutoff. This win will lock him into the playoffs. He won't have anything to worry about next week at Daytona. I think the points situation would have worked itself out with such a great run tonight, even if he doesn't hold on here. But, you know, he can put it all to rest, give himself some nice playoff points, and go in the next week and just have some fun. And that's what he's got to be looking at right now.
Next car in line is Wyatt, followed by Rogers, by the way. Nick Kane also at risk of being lapped, and then it's a long ways away to the rest of the field here in the running order. Good speed showcased by the field tonight. Only a 1 second of fall off this entire run once again here tonight. So 27 to go. And right now, that traffic seems like it's going to be cordial. Nick Kane is one of the drivers multiple laps down they have to reach, though. We know last time there was an issue to clear by King.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes when they get there. He's currently only 1 lap down, would be going 2 down when he gets lapped. Bit of a lead for Taylor to work with here, so he has a little bit of patience when he approaches these race cars, but still a sense of urgency always when you're leading this race with lapped cars, and always wanting to tiptoe around them, not make any mistakes, and cost yourself time. Devo, we saw it just there at the back of the screen. Holden is closed all the way up to coffee now for P3. We're going to have a battle for that position on our hands as well.
Wyatt moves up, no issue. Able to slip by without any problems. by the way. This is the battle. Keep an eye on here. Holden has reeled on in Coffee. Last time by was a tenth quicker than the 54. On average, he's been a tenth quicker the past 5, the past 10, and the past 15 laps. Chance for the podium here on the line as the 88 tries to set something up to the inside. There's the poke. Coffee moving up now.
He doesn't get turned by Rogers. You really do have to wonder if he'd be leading this race right now.
Yeah, there is a good chance of him with the long run speed being able to contend with the 9. But now, just have to race where it lies here. Side by side for third. And trying to get the side tread down in the 54 as Coffee lets him go. Holden to third.
Well, some clean racetrack in front of him again until he catches Gallimore. We'll see what he can do with that. 2.7 seconds, 22 to go. It's looking a little bit insurmountable right now for Holden. Oh, hard contact with the wall for Gallimore just in front of him, though, as we talk about it. So, lap traffic, though, Jeffrey Taylor has the potential for issues. I mean, there's still a lot that could change in this race. We could have a caution. I mean, this is not over.
Some drivers still trying to recover some decent position here. Matt Cox is joining in this conversation for the battle for 5th. Warman Jr. is fighting for all he might with drivers like Aaron Matthews, who have been falling off. Greg Carr trying to have his best run of the season here. And Holden has found his way past Gallimore for second. Very quickly, in fact. But he needs to gain 3 seconds in less than 20 laps.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot for him. A little bit faster that time than Taylor, even with the pass being made. You see Coffee in behind, following through with a pass on Gallimore as well. Going to be Shane Wyatt, lapped car there in front of him. Shawn Rogers as well. That was the car that he had the contact with on the front straightaway. That spun the 88 around and sent him to the back of the field with some damage. And he's had to work all the way back forward from that incident.
Yeah, great job here for Holden. Going to be a decent finish regardless, but obviously would have been a lot more if he was able to get a win. Holden, mind you, drivers that showed plenty of speed in the 88, the races we've seen from him this season. He's in a comfortable spot to close things on out. No time gained the past couple laps, by the way, so the time is starting to plateau a bit.
I mean, he's had to pass the entire field this run, so not surprising he's had to use up that rubber in those tires, but impressive nonetheless that he's gotten all the way to this point, even with that, situation that occurred and driving through this field and still running really competitive lap times in the 88. Just not enough to get Taylor. He's just so far out front.
15 laps to close it out here from Richmond. And some of the conversation still on with Aaron Matthews getting moved on back, by the way. Matthews is one of the drivers in some side-by-sides. That includes Carr. Right now trying to hold on to 7th. Cox passed them all while we weren't looking. Kevin Ruff trying to make some passes also.
14 and the 5. That's a big battle between those two. Those are the ones on our cut line. They are fighting for every point right now as we are in the second to last race before we make our cuts for the playoffs.
Yeah, slide up there by Carr. One of the best races for the 25 all season. Ruff also slips his way on to the inside. Nearly fed the numbers. Just about fed the entire door to the side of the 5. The way to trying to get this pass done. But it's the home stretch. 12 to go. Matthews trying to fight to make sure he doesn't fall out of the top 10 at this rate.
still fighting side by side hard here. This is important for Matthews. He's that car on the outside. He needs these points on Kevin Ruff. So Ruff making this pass could expand that gap. Oh, really tight there off of turn 4. Almost put the 5 in the wall, did the 14 of Ruff. They're racing for everything they have right now. This is a 2-point swing, this pass right here for both of them.
Still not done for this fight. And they'll have to get it sorted pretty soon. Lap traffic is ahead. Still not done, as now they try and have the 23 run the middle line. That will be a factor in a couple laps time. Matthews clears, and can he slam the door? He does.
We'll see if Ruff has enough tire to mount another charge with that 5. He was working on the pass for a while, couldn't get it done. Matthews fought hard on the outside, held the 14 off. Kevin Ruff is going to regroup, look back to the inside here. He's already back alongside that 5 car. Oh, almost missed the bottom and got into the left rear. Matthews there. They're still fighting hard down the back straightaway. Look at what it's done behind them. Sanders, Bikey, all closing in on this battle.
Yeah, all getting queued up for an opportunity for a top 10. Lap traffic is next. They have the 23, the 12, and the 44 all grouped together, but all running different lines. It's going to get very difficult to cut through them all next moments or so. Matthews stays single file for now, trying to arc it high, carry the speed.
See that down the backstretch, some lap cars in front of them. Take a look up front. Coffey, Gallimore, there's Cox, and Wortman. This is going to be a battle for that 5th position. There's battles all over this racetrack right now. I'm telling you, Justin, we're brewing for potential Valet Race Yellow here.
Five to go at the stripe. It's 5 laps to go here from Richmond. Right now, Holden, he did close up half a second over the course of this time. Obviously not enough to contend for the race win. You'll need a caution if he wants a chance to battle up front.
Yeah, it's been faster. I think part of that's the 9's just taking care of his stuff right now, knowing that the gap is so large that there's nothing the 88 can do without a yellow. No reason to risk your own race car right now. Just pace yourself to the finish if you're Jeffrey Taylor in the 9, as he has no pressure out back.
Yeah, also quick when it comes to the 9 machine tonight. Coming around 2 laps to go here from Richmond. Absolute dominant night for car number 9. All but a couple laps going the way of Taylor. Won't get all the laps led. Sure will be close. It's been untouchable since the drop of the green flag from that run from the outside to then clear and be able to run away. 1 to go, brought to you by League Gaming. Final time around for Taylor. No chances of cautions to take away this opportunity. A strong day for Jeffrey Taylor, a dominant run for the 9. He comes out of the final corner. Jeffrey Taylor wins it at Richmond.
Congratulations to that entire 19 Jeffrey Taylor. A great run with a dominant victory. Almost perfect, Justin. Just barely got a couple laps taken from him there. But, you know, a week ago at Watkins Glen, he was one of the strongest cars. Couldn't quite get it done. But he comes out here in Richmond and makes a statement before the playoffs.
15th in the playoff standings coming into tonight. Yet to get a win. And he's already floored it through the infield to celebrate. His first win of 2025 comes here.
Digged up the nose a little, make sure it passes tech there from a 9 car, but went flying through the infield. You can just see the pure excitement there for Jeffrey Taylor. He is pumped to win this race.
Your celebration as, oh boy, hit the barrels.
He's tearing this car to pieces. You'd think he'd want to bring that first win car home with him.
You think you want to try and find victory lane at this point?
Hit the pace car! Hit the pace car! Hit the pace car!
Well, it's going to take one of the quickest Polish victory laps you'll see. Go from there on the celebration. But as he does his thing, we'll do our thing. The PayRVA 250. Post-race coverage coming up. You're watching tonight's coverage of the OB Builders Cup Series on Ballin TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's coverage of the OB Builders Cup Series. For more coverage, to PayRVA 250. Here at Richmond Raceway, our drivers standing by. Jeffrey Taylor, Kyle Holden, and Alex Coffey all get on the podium. Paul Gallimore and Tim Wortman Jr. the top 5. Matt Cox in 6th. Greg Carr in 7th. Aaron Matthews, Kevin Ruff, and Barry Sanders all got top 10s.
Saw Mikey was a strong run early. Came on 11. How about Jose Medina, P12? Don't think we talked about him much all night, but a really solid run out of him in the 48. Corey Moore in the PayRVA 19 gets a P13 here tonight. Chris Davis 14th. Brandon Fetter plays 15th. Nigel Christensen and Blaine Wilson round out the lead lap. Sean Rogers, after that incident with the 88 of Holden, came home 18th. Nick King and Shane Wyatt 19th and 20th.
21st went the way of Warren Young, multiple laps down, of course, with part of DNF list. Ryan Hoffkate at Northray 2. Timothy Harpy was off the pace from the start. Glenn Schaub 24th, Nicholas Atwood 25th. Jared Clark, Kenny Coppola, and Matt Mackin crashed on lap 2 and immediately pulled out of the race. That's what top to bottom of the running order here tonight. Here from Richmond. But it's Jeffrey Taylor who gets the win here tonight. How does it feel to finally break on through after you celebrate by destroying the race car?
I don't know. I have to take one from Dale Earnhardt. He said that was an ass kicking right there. And that's what I finally get one, and at least that's what it is.
Yeah. All but 2 laps. What was kind of going through your mind as you were just controlling this race for the first time all season?
So really the first 2 stages, I don't feel like I was the fastest car. I really don't. I think Alex had a better long run car than I did. And the tire wear was not good at the end of the first stage. I was like really disturbed at the speed late. Then we got to the second run and it got a little bit better. But then we got to the third run, like I could just roll the bottom and just step on the throttle and just run away. Early in the run, I made sure I just kept, Brandon close to me. I didn't want to use I felt like I had enough fuel to make it to the end. So I didn't know if we would go long green or not. And we did. So I just absolutely babied the tires. But the 2 guys that are in the waiting room against me were the ones I was worried about, especially Coffey, because he's fast everywhere.
How much pressure does this give you relief from now knowing you've got a playoff lock with this victory, especially heading to Daytona next week?
Even with the playoff lock, it's still it's just winning means more than anything when you beat a group of guys like this. I mean, what championship or not, winning a race just means a lot. You know, I mean, we could leave at Phoenix and I could be the champion in it. I mean, I don't know how much I could celebrate more. I just enjoy that. Even in one race, beating everybody, beating this group of guys, it means something. And that's all. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Anyone you want to give a shout out to on the way to the celebration?
Well, obviously the teammates at BMP, because they helped me more than anything, more than they ever know. And this week it was Ryko Performance put together one heck of a package, and I was reading Sean Conklin's notes beforehand, and I got pretty deep into those. And then I got through the first 2 runs, and I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about. But then I got to the 3rd run, and I'm like, now I feel what he's talking about. And Conklin really, the notes come big right there. I can't talk big enough about that particular situation. And you got to dedicate. I got a baby on the way. He's going to be here sometime in the next week. So you got to dedicate the win to him next couple weeks. So exciting times, man.
Congratulations on the win tonight here, Jeffrey, and congratulations on the child.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, fellas.
Jeffrey Taylor gets the win here tonight. Kyle Holden, he had a car charging to the field a couple times tonight. He finishes in 2nd. He's with Jeremy.
Well, Kyle, I'm just going to have to come out and ask it blunt. Do you think you win that race tonight if you don't get dumped there to start off that final stage?
Not too sure. Jeff was fast. He said he found something there at the end, so it might have been a battle. We might have burned our tires. Dirty air kind of plays a little bit into it as well, but I think it had a really good car in the long run, so if maybe there wasn't a caution or anything right there, and that stayed green the rest of the way, I think then maybe we probably would have had a chance, but either way, good. It was a good race. No harm, no foul to Sean. Shit happens. Excuse my language there, but yeah, it was overall good race. I'm surprised we didn't end up with a bunch of cautions and just a 250 lap of pacing.
Yeah, impressive battling. We saw you move your way through the field twice tonight, so you really put an exemplary performance out there of how to make passes and do it the right way at a short track like Richmond, and pulling that all off. But moving to Daytona, into the playoffs as well, not eligible for you in the 88 for the playoffs. So what does the rest of your season look like here? What are your goals moving forward, Daytona and beyond?
Rest of the season, I've kind of been having fun, just starting in the back and seeing how I can make my way through. Maybe learn a little bit of something about this new tire model, since I can't get on too often. But I'm just gonna play it easy, get wins if I can. But try to help the team that I'm going to be on for next year. See if I can help them out at all. It's definitely at Daytona. This new update, it's definitely something. So I'm hoping the high side works and whatnot. It was definitely different here tonight for sure. All the stripes and stuff are painted all the way around the track now, so it's your let-off points are completely different. You don't really know when to do it for turn 1, turn 4. It's just after a shadow, but yeah, update's a little bit different, so it's gonna play out a little bit differently, I think.
Yeah, obviously a lot of changes across the sim. How hard have all those changes been for you to acclimate to? We've seen you at the road courses, maybe not as consistent as you were earlier in the season before the build change, and just still the speed is there, just maybe struggling to find the consistency that we were used to seeing out of your car. Yeah,
I've been changing around my rig, moving seats around, changing seats. I moved my wheel and all this stuff, and changed some settings on my wheel. It's been a couple weeks for me. It's been getting used to which wheel settings I really want to run. That's kind of why you've seen me not do so hot. We're just trying to test things out and make sure we're ready for next year. This new update kind of changed some stuff on the wheelbase for Fanatec at least, so I had to change some stuff, and it's kind of been a rocky road for us in the last couple of races, but hopefully we've run the right track and we can move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And who all does help you get it done out there at E88?
Definitely huge thanks to Sim Wrap Market being on the car. Definitely go out there, check out what they got out for you for paints. Best stuff on the sim right now, I think. And then huge thanks to Barry for putting on the league, Team Conti for giving us the setup this week, and just everyone for showing up. I know this track isn't always the best, but we did a really good job.
It definitely was a great show, and congratulations on another solid finish, Kyle.
Appreciate it.
All right, now we're going to move to tonight's 3rd place finisher, Alex Coffey. Looked like he had the car to beat and threw points in the run early. Had a bit of an issue there that kind of derailed his night. He's with Justin.
Yes, indeed, Alex Coffey able to round out our top 3 here this evening. How would you describe the perseverance you had to show to get back up to the front after what I hear from what we understand is a fuel glitch?
Yeah, it was pretty frustrating. I didn't really touch the fuel, so it should have fueled like normal. But right when I got to Jeff in stage 2, I got the call for 5 laps left on fuel, and I was like, all right. So I was pretty, yeah, I wasn't very happy at that, but I guess it happens.
How difficult was it to make up all those spots, though, after all that? I know at one point you actually fell back a lap down trying to be in the pit stall.
Yeah, I was not happy about that either. But luckily, that caution in the kind of the early part of stage 3 definitely helped, because I pushed my tires hard trying to get some track position, hoping that we'd get a caution at some point during that stage. And I think I was 5th or something when the caution came out, so that definitely helped let me get back even on the tires. But yeah, I had some had some unfortunate things happen there in stage 3 too. So
Well, Daytona's up next. Your thoughts on the super speedway?
not a fan, but we should be all right there, and looking forward to it. But yeah, shout out to Jeff. He always races me clean. One of the few out of that team that does. So after getting turned by 2 beast mode cars in both Richmond races last year, and an attempt on it again tonight by Brandon Bikey, you know, glad to see Jeff, one of the ones that doesn't race like that, get the win.
Any shout you'd like to give here tonight?
Oh yeah, shout out to Dig Esports and you guys for doing the broadcast. Shout out to Precision Speed Solutions putting a fast car under us tonight. Shout out to everybody watching. Also want to send condolences to Warrior Racing for Jameson Middle Miss and, you know, everything they're dealing with over there. Hate to see that for those guys, but just shout out to everybody that keeps the lead going, the admins and everything like that.
Congratulations on the top 3 here tonight, Alex.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Alex Coffey rounds out our top 3 discussions. I'd like to take the time to thank the top 3 for speaking with us during post-race coverage here on Ballin TV. But it's Daytona. It's the regular season finale next, Jeremy. Your thoughts going into the World Center of Racing next week?
It's Daytona, man. You know, it's what every NASCAR fan, every NASCAR driver dreams of. Everybody wants to go out there and run well, and you know, it always puts on a good show. And yeah, I don't think I expect anything less out of these guys when we get there next week.
See that at 8 p.m. once again, August 27th at 8. Be sure to tune on in then. On that note, it's time to say goodbye. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in for tonight for the PayRVA 250. Again, for my co-announcer Jeremy Miller, for our producer DJ Lyon, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You are watching tonight's coverage of the Moonshiners Racing League in the OB Builders Cup Series from Richmond Raceway. We'll see you next time we go super speedway racing from Daytona.